There was an evil entity in the house.
You are about to see real people
I was terrified beyond belief.
reliving horrifying paranormal encounters for the first time.
I truly felt it was like living in hell.
Felt like I wasn't alone.
Literally grabbed me and spun and bang up on the wall.
When ghosts are invited into their lives,
I buried this for nearly 30 years.
be prepared to be afraid.
Take one.
In 1988, I was living with my husband and my 1 and 2-year-old daughters. We had just left a small basement apartment, so we were pretty excited to be able to move into a 3-bedroom split-level house. It was kind of like a dream come true at the time.
The young family was just settling into their new life when Kat was contacted by someone she hadn't heard from in over a year.
Maria was a friend of mine, just out of the blue, and there was no call displayed, and the phone rang, and I answered it, and it was her.
Huh?
There was this hysterical person on the other end saying, "I need your help." And what really got me was when she said, "They're gonna kill us." Well, she arrived on my doorstep with her son. She was a mess. She was disheveled. She was pale. And immediately she's going, "I know you don't know me that well, but I always trusted you, and I knew that you would help me." So I let her in. She began to open up to me about what had been happening.
Maria and Kat sat down to catch up on the past 12 months, but every word that came out of Maria's mouth, Kat found horrifying.
She said, "My husband joined a cult."
When Maria got pregnant, her husband made an appalling confession.
Halfway through the pregnancy, he said, "We have to leave here. I've done something really bad. We have to go." She said, when I had an ultrasound and found out I was having a boy, he promised that boy to the cult as a sacrifice. It took me a while to even process what was being said to me.
Maria told Kat she was scared but didn't really believe she or her baby were in danger. All that changed at her husband's birthday party 8 months earlier, just after the baby had been born.
They had had a birthday party. And then she said, "I remember hearing my sister screaming, and I'm realizing I'm drugged. He's drugged us." She said, "There were these people in my apartment." And she said, "I remember robes. I remember these black robes. And there was a fight, a physical altercation." She told me, "I get up. Finally, I can walk, but I'm still really dopey." And she goes, "There's this knife in my kitchen sink, covered in blood." She goes, "And I don't know why, I just started washing this knife." She goes, "And then I look over, and my husband's in this industrial garbage bag, and I can see his arm is over his head, hanging out of the garbage bag. His throat had been cut from ear to ear, nearly decapitated him." And she said, "I made it back to the couch and passed out." When she woke up, that garbage bag was gone. He was gone. And they found him in a field across from the apartment. She said, people at the funeral home, they're all trying to say, "Well, he committed suicide." No, he didn't.
Maria's brutal tale did not finish with her husband's death. It was just the beginning.
she began to tell me that shortly after the funeral, and actually someone called during the funeral and told her, it's not over. We're owed. That baby is ours. He was promised to us and we want him. And I said, what have you involved me in?
Despite her reservations, Kat felt she had no other option but to invite Maria and her son to move in. It would turn out to be the worst decision of her life.
Had no clue what was being brought or entering my life or my husband's life, or most importantly, the lives of my children.
Usually people, when they get into the occult, there are attachments that will attach themselves to those individuals. And that individual spirit can move and manifest to another individual. Because you have to remember, there's a different level of energy that's playing here, a different mindset that's playing here. And the mindset that I want to take over, the mindset that I want to empower, the mindset that I want to control. And they'll take that opportunity and they'll cause havoc with that person.
Shortly after Maria had arrived, really some strange things had started happening. I would put the children's toys away before bed. My husband would get up in the morning and the toys would be all out of the chest. And he'd say, what are you doing? Like, why you always put them away? Someone's gonna trip. And I said, but I did. I did put them away.
Life had been completely normal before Maria arrived. Kat now became convinced the strange events were linked to her friend. She feared that by taking Maria in, she had also invited in the spirit of Maria's dead husband.
I had hung pictures that I liked. Some of them were very old pictures, I should tell you, so I loved them, but they would be off of the wall. Some of them were smashed on the floor, like someone had just walked by and hit them and knocked them off. What was very painful, actually, was finding my wedding picture shredded. The glass was shattered, the picture is shredded.
It was the last straw. Reluctantly, Kat told Maria she had to leave, but any hopes that the weird events would stop were soon dashed in brutal fashion.
The smell arrived in my house. I was in the kitchen between dishes and I smelled this smell of rot, of decay. And all of a sudden,